What's up there? Could we have church up there? All right, Rob, so tell us about your work history. Where have you worked in the past?
I started off in Procter & Gamble, good old P&G here in Cincinnati. So I'm a UC grad. Worked at P&G for about 7 years. Got my MBA. P&G paid for it. Great company to work for.
Nice plug.
A lot of P&G folks in the congregation, right? 7 years in, I was at a convention and got approached by someone from Microsoft and asked if I was interested in working there. Hadn't given some thought about it. And, exchanged cards, one thing led to another. And next thing you know, my wife's looking at the map going, Seattle, that's pretty far from Cincinnati. You can't get much further away from Cincinnati. We went out there without children, had 2 children while we were out there, and we realized that in order for the kids to see their grandparents, for us to see our friends and family more often, Ohio was going to bring us home. And Ohio, I believe, is a great place to raise children, too.
And what's your history with houses? You've said you've owned more than 2 houses in your lifetime?
Yeah, just a few more than 2. The first house I owned was a 2-family in Eden Park here in Cincinnati. Got married shortly thereafter, and my wife's been with me all along. She's been a big supporter of what we do. Again, I don't think we've lasted more than 2 years in a house. We just enjoy renovating houses, and it's always been something I've done on the side.
And your wife, Keely, how has she been involved in the decisions to change jobs and to change houses and to move to Seattle and move back to Cincinnati?
She's been there every step of the way and extremely supportive. And she enjoys it. A lot of the places we've done, she's, helped design the kitchens, the baths, picked out the paint colors, and she's been there. I remember one time it was a house where she painted the trim. She came home, she couldn't move her hand because she was painting all night long. So she's been very supportive and, a key part of it all along. I think family and faith are top of the list, quite honestly. All along when we decide either on work or a project we're going to take on, is it going to compromise, our family life, our faith, or anything we're doing in that regard. So those are top of the list and help shape what we do.
And what's obvious to me, Rob, is that you constantly are on the lookout for another opportunity, whether it be another house or another job to take or a place to move, and keeping your family in mind as far as moving back to Ohio because of your family. Who would you see yourself more as? Would you see yourself more as Clint Eastwood, always hunting down an opportunity, or like maybe a Tim the Toolman Taylor, something you can dig your hands into, or like an explorer, like a Magellan or Columbus?
I love a challenge. I like looking for the next challenge. The Clint Eastwood, the adventurer, getting out there, taking on a new challenge. Tim the Toolman, I can fix it. That's one of the things I love about houses. You can take a look at something and see, well, if you did this, this, and this to it, it could be really cool. So I enjoy that. And the Magellan, exploring new worlds. I like to think of new things and really push the barrier. So I think mix all 3.
How about your faith history? What's been your church history in the past?
Okay. Yeah, not a traditional roadmap or textbook case here. My mom was a diehard Catholic. My dad, a Methodist. So you mix those 2 together, I was baptized Episcopalian, right?
Classic.
Yeah. So as I got older and got married, we really decided to marry Keely. She's Methodist, and I felt...
Not a bad choice.
Not a bad choice at all. I married up. So I decided to become Methodist, and we joined a church, in Bellevue. We went to Hyde Park United Methodist before we moved out to Seattle. And, it's just, it's been growing ever since then, quite honestly. But I did not start out the traditional, grow up going to church every Sunday.
How do you see your relationship with God? How confident are you about how close you are with God?
I think, very confident. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing, given my history, right? Given my background, I could easily knock on the church for the rest of my life. But, I've been making decisions along the way, with my wife and the family. So very confident. But I see, I honestly see faith as a journey and faith as a verb, so it's really not, it's part of it, it's what you believe, but it's also what you do. And for me, I still feel I'm relatively early on in the journey, but I do feel confident about the choice.
And do you see God has brought you opportunities with these houses and with your relationship with Keely and with your jobs, or how do you see God interacting with you?
Absolutely, I do see God involved. I've been very blessed. I had a wonderful family growing up, and now I have my wonderful family on my own. And I feel very blessed in that regard, and God's given me some good abilities, and hopefully I'm using those, in the way that I should be.
And so when you're making these decisions about who to marry, which home to buy next, which job to take next, how involved do you allow God to be in those decisions?
I do, hope, we all seek for guidance, right? And I do as well. And hopefully we're hearing the right answers and making the right decisions. And, I do that in my private time. I went for a jog in Alt Park, a trail run earlier today. And that's, those are the times when you really, when I personally, try and talk to God and get answers for my life.
And how do you hear God speak back to you? With opportunities that come around, or do you hear an audible voice, or how does that shake out?
For me, it's the opportunities that come around and what's happening in my life. There's been a lot of challenges and a lot of blessings in my life. Things with my son and surgeries he's gone through, and he's turned out to be a wonderful child. And in fact, he's a miracle baby. That's a whole other video series, quite honestly. But I've been blessed with some great things in my life.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, Rob, sitting here with you talking about God in the back porch of a home that you're going to sell here soon, you would sell to just about anybody, wouldn't you?
For the right price.
Everybody and every house has its price. It's good talking to you, Rob.